Over a period of 100 years, 8 Swedes have been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Of those, 5 have a direct connection to Karolinska Institutet. In the middle of the 1930s, Hugo Theorell, a former graduate student at Karolinska Institutet and now a guest researcher with the Nobel laureate Otto Warburg in Berlin, succeeded in splitting an oxidative enzyme and identifying its different constituent parts. Karolinska Institutet's management, quick to realize the potential of his discovery, set up, on the initiative of Professor Einar Hammarsten, a professorship for Theorell at the Nobel Institute's newly established Department of Biochemistry. In subsequent research, Theorell was able to clarify in growing detail how different enzyme systems steer the cell's respiration and metabolism. In 1955, Theorell became Karolinska Institutet's first Nobel Prize winner. In 1944, a department of neurophysiology was established at the Medical Nobel Institute, headed by Ragnar Granit. His research not only provided basic understanding of man's perception of color, but also clarified the neurophysiological functions of the eye muscles. Ragnar Granit was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1967. The next 3 Nobel laureates from Karolinska Institutet illustrate how an intellectual working environment based on mentorship has created the prerequisites on which to build new areas of knowledge. The background is as follows. 34-year-old Ulf von Euler was appointed professor of physiology at Karolinska Institutet the year World War II broke out. Von Euler had, under the guidance of the Nobel Committee's secretary Göran Liljestrand, studied in depth the way the sympathetic nervous system coordinates and steers bodily functions, such as breathing, circulation, and intestinal movements. Von Euler made several discoveries which created important cornerstones in the development of new research fields. One discovery explained the mode of action of noradrenaline, an adrenal marrow hormone with blood pressure-raising effects. He was also the first to identify prostaglandins. Ulf von Euler was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1970. Von Euler's colleague Sune Bergström, professor of physiological chemistry, studied prostaglandins in detail during the 1950s. He succeeded in identifying the chemical base structure of these physiologically active compounds. The prostaglandins originate from arachidonic acid and cause, among other things, contractions of the uterus. Between 1959 and 1962, Bergström took part in a joint research project into prostaglandins with his younger colleague Bengt Samuelsson. The latter's continued research led to the discovery of 2 physiologically very significant groups of transformation products of arachidonic acid, namely leukotrienes and thromboxanes. Through his biochemical research, Samuelsson, professor of medical and physiological chemistry, became one of the world's foremost authorities on prostaglandins. In 1982, Sune Bergström and Bengt Samuelsson were awarded the Nobel Prize together with a British colleague, Sir John Vane. There was also an encouraging mentorship in the circle around Sweden's first Nobel Prize winner in medicine, Hugo Theorell, in this case with an international touch. 2 of Theorell's guest researchers at the Nobel Institute's Department of Biochemistry were eventually awarded the Nobel Prize. Anne Finsen in chemistry in 1972 and de Duve in physiology or medicine in 1974. The Swedish-born American and 1981 Nobel laureate Torsten Wiesel also profited from Karolinska Institutet's schooling. During the 1950s, he carried out basic research in neurophysiology at Karolinska Institutet under Professor Bernhard. The scientists at Karolinska Institutet who have been honored with the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine have worked in an encouraging and supportive atmosphere. The research tradition at the Institute bears a consistent link with the natural sciences legacy from the 19th century. Furthermore, the responsibility of choosing Nobel Prize winners in physiology or medicine has created a very special intellectual environment, which has made its mark on daily research at the Institute.